We're not your little niggas. Like, for real. All that big homie stuff, that's for little niggas.
I mean, I totally...
She stole it.
I didn't steal it. It was on accident.
Really make me go and lose my patience. You keep asking about the hoes, boys, this interrogation. I've been in spaces where bitch niggas don't like me, but they just sit and smile, wouldn't dare think to fight me. Maybe cause they know I'm better and all of they women like me. I pop in that little shit and honestly it don't excite me. I might be the greatest they ever do it. If I put it in a song, nigga know I went through it. I've been through it. Tell that boy to cut it out, the gin sue it. Your chances resemble you with your bitch, you been through it. I went through it. That in every bad situation, I would hate on me too if I had your reputation. Watching my every move, probably living in the basement. Niggas know I'm from the city, but they'll never be adjacent. I'm saying.
So my LA story is wicked. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's actually a wild story. So I was working at the post office at one time. I was working at the post office. I went on a vacation. And typically when, you know, in the past, I never really would like travel, but I would like, you know, just live a regular life. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm on vacation. I'm just doing regular nigga shit. So me and 422 came to the crib. We made this song called Challenge. It ended up being on my project Shine and being in the intro to that song. And I had literally went through my email. I had found the beat that somebody sent me, and I had literally made this song. And you know, we had made the song, and it literally had been like literally one of the hardest songs ever. And I was just like, bro, like, you know, like we just like kind of passed it back and forth, kind of freestyled and shit. And it was just like, I was like, man, like we should really be doing this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we sit here, you know, living, you know, working jobs and this is that and third. Like, this is really what, you know, life should be. Before my vacation was up, I had seen Bones, and Bones, he was like, you know, he was like on a leave or whatever. And from his job, and he was just like, you know, like, no, I think he quit working his job. He was just saying like, you know, he had went on a leave, and you know, he went on a leave, and you know, he was just, you know, paying the stuff, and you know, it just kind of worked out for him, and that, you know, that was the route he took, and I was inspired. And when I went back to the post office, like, you know, it was like really hard for me to return back to work, and I, you know, I didn't want to be there at all. I remember like being on my last route, I was like paralyzed, like, you know what I'm saying, like paralyzed to the point where it was like I couldn't get up out the truck and deliver the rest of the meal, like, you know what I mean. So I, you know, I ended up bringing the meal back. The next day, I had went to go see like a psychiatrist or whatever. And when I went to go see the psychiatrist, granted, like I had looked at the paper, seen like who my insurance accepted. I just randomly picked ones. I ended up going, and they had literally been booked up for months, but somehow, some way, I had went, and the lady was like, "You trying to book an appointment?" I was like, "I'm trying to be seen." They was like, "Oh, so you want to book an appointment?" And I'm like, "Whatever." And then it gets to a point, she's like, "If I get you in right now, would you come?" I'm like, "Yeah, nigga, that's what I'm here for." Like, you know, I had went to do that, and they had gave me, I asked for like 3 months off of work, and they gave me 3 months off of work. At that time, you know, I was doing shows, I was doing features. I had, you know, my brand FMP, which stands for My People, which started off as merch for my project.
From your project.
Yeah,
Yep.
for that project.
Yes, sir.
I had t-shirts for that project, and I gave them to Isaiah Rashad, and he had started wearing them on tour, and I had, you know, I was selling them to people like all over the world, and people was telling me I should make it a clothing brand, but I'm like, I ain't trying to make t-shirts that say "for my people" the entire time. So I was trying to figure out a way I could, like, you know, turn into a brand. So, but by that time I had figured it out. So, you know, I was selling hats. I was selling hats. I was doing features. I was doing shows, and you know, I was paying the bills. I was dating this girl around this time. It started off with some cool shit. Like, you know, we just kind of hanging out. You know, she was moving to LA in 3 months, so I'm like, you know, whatever. She asked me if I wanna drive her across the country. I'm like, shit, I don't got no job. Like, this is what, you know, this is what I do it for. You know, she moved all her stuff in with me. I was maybe her last week there, and then like, you know, we was gonna pack the shit up in her car and we was gonna drive. The night before we left, my apartment had flooded. There was a tube that was probably this big, and it was like that round, like that around. It was like very small, like way smaller than the size of a pencil. But it was in the dishwasher upstairs, and it had leaked all night long. And so much water had leaked where it was like my roof had fell in, water was coming out of the plugs and you know, coming out the electrical sockets. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my
Yeah,
apartment had
not
like
fit to
100%.
live in no more.
Nah, not fit to live in no more either. And this
That's
happens like
crazy.
right as I'm getting ready to hit the road with her. So
That's crazy.
my mom was just like, my mama was like, she was looking for a house. If I wanted to stay with her, you know what I'm saying, I could stay with her and, I could dissolve my lease and, I could help pay rent over there and I can just kind of, hustle my bread up. And I had been saying I wanted to go to California because here it is, somebody who's moving, you know what I'm saying? I've always wanted, I was born out here. My mom's from California and I've always knew that like when it was time for me to be somebody, I was going to, come out here and live. uh I was gonna come out here and live and here I am around somebody who actually has a goal and a plan to like move and I just always was like when I get famous I'm gonna go. So mom was like, but I was like, at that point I wanted to formulate a plan to like actually do it. She was like, you could come here, stack your money up and what I'm saying, when it's time to move, you can move. I'm like, all right, bet that's what I'm gonna do. We get halfway across the country. My mom, she was supposed to buy his house. Like, you know what I'm saying? It didn't fall through. So I couldn't stay there. I called my
Everything's
pops.
starting to formulate and starting to formulate. And I'm starting to see.
So I called my pops, and my pops was like, you can stay with me, but my pops was going through a divorce, and he was like,
Mm,
I got to sell his house. So when I sell his house, everybody and everything, got
gotta
to
get.
go with it.
You're right.
A girl at the time, she said I could stay, and I could stay in, I could, stay in LA with her. Till I get on my feet, do my thing, and it was, I was faced with a choice. It was, start over from ground zero in, Louisville, or start over in California. So I moved out here. We were probably together for probably like 3 months. At the end of 3 months, that's when it like, ended for sure. Because I got her in October, so it's like November, December. I was out here with her and, we were, like I said, we were bumping heads because it was like, originally when we first started dating, she was getting ready to move to LA. So no, we wasn't really taking it that serious.
Right.
Thinking like, oh, like, I'm not really like really putting it in my mind, like, could I be with this person long term? Like,
Right.
I'm enjoying vibes, this, that, and the third. Like, what I'm
Right.
saying? And I'm not surrounded. She's not around me 24/7, you know what I mean? But then I get to a situation where, I'm around her 24/7. I don't got a job. I can't do shows. I had $0 and 0 cents to my name, you know what I'm saying? Granted, you know what I'm saying? I was still making it happen for me. I was on Craigslist every day looking for like little odd jobs, you know what I'm saying, that I could do. I ended up finding a job, kind of like on Fairfax, which wasn't too far from where she was staying at. But, you know, by that time we had already kind of like, bumped heads. And, at that point I was faced with a decision. I was just like, give me a week and, you know what I'm saying, I'll be out of here. Some people told me that, some people was telling me like, you should kind of like, wait till you figure out somewhere to live before you make such a drastic decision. I never wanted to be in a situation where I felt like I used somebody to be where I am.
Mm,
Because already from the outside looking in, unless you knew what my life was like, you know what I'm saying? That's what it already kind of looked like.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure
hmm
that, I just wanted to make sure I was a stand up nigga all the way through. So, I told her to give me a week and I was fully prepared to, sleep in my car if I had to. But, I ended up finding where to live. And, what I mean? I'm talking about I didn't even make enough to live there. Like, shit, I made it happen. 4 years later, you know what I'm saying? I'm still here. You know what I mean? So that's my LA story.
That's that's dope. I ain't gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Stepping out on a limb.
But not even
Yeah.
that, getting pushed out by life circumstances to be like, well, you did have all this stuff in Louisville, but I mean, now you don't. So it's kind of like, where you want to start at, little bro? It's kind of like the
Yeah.
game's equal. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, facts. And that was my thing. It was like some of my closest friends, they were in shock that I wanted to make that decision. And some of them can't believe that I did it and, that I'm, even still here. But it was like, for me, it was just like, damn, like for me, I didn't have a choice. I knew I would have regretted that decision my entire life. Like, what I mean? It's like, I literally am going to have to start over no matter what. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have a job no more. You know what I mean? The 3 months the 3 months had been up. I had already, signed the papers and left, like, you know what I'm saying, it was like I got to start over wherever I'm at.
Is that what made you take a break? Well, I wouldn't say you took a break because then you come out with something with Alan Vice, didn't you?
Yeah, I guess so I had a project called Shine uh came out a couple years after I had been in LA for
Okay,
what
that's
came
what I was
out,
about to
after
say.
I've been in LA for a minute. But that was like a lot of them, that was like, it was just a few songs, just songs that I was making, during that transition of my life. Like, during the transition, I would say from the point of like getting ready to leave to the point of like moving into my own space.
Okay.
And then me and Alan Vice came out with a project, you know what I mean, The Shining. And
That goes back to
The Shining was the playoff of my project called Shine, because he had a project called Shine and I had a project called Shine. Like, you know what I mean? And
okay.
that's why we called it The Shining, because it was like, it was where we met in the middle at,
Okay. So I'm like, I'll listen to that and I'm like, you niggas snapped on that motherfucker.
I appreciate that, man. That was, I ain't gonna lie, that's
Jesus.
literally, those are some of my favorite raps I've ever rapped.
It makes sense.
Really made me go and lose my patience. You keep asking about the hoes, boy, is this interrogation? I've been in spaces where bitch niggas don't like me, but they just sit and smile, wouldn't dare think to fight me. Maybe cause they know I'm better and all of they women like me. I pop in that little shit and honestly it don't excite me. I might be the greatest they ever do it. If I put it in a song, nigga know I went through it. I've been through it. Tell that boy to cut it out, the Jinsu it. Your chances resemble you with your bitch, you been through it. I went through it. That in every bad situation, I would hate on me too if I had your reputation. Watching my every move, probably living in the basement. Niggas know I'm from the city, but they'll never be adjacent. I'm saying, and it was because, like, like I said, I've always put entertainment at the forefront.
Right.
Alan Vice, like, one thing I really love his raps and, what he does. And, I've always wanted to be able to do a full project, of that, but it just didn't feel like it fit because, because of I've always put, I've always kind of had like that, hold on, wait, do you actually you can turn some lights on here? Hold on 2 seconds. Let me, because I feel like I'm getting dark.
You getting darker. You been out in the sun.
Yeah, not rich.
We talk about shine, a nigga get darker.
Right.
Yeah, nigga.
All right.
Nah,
Sorry. So, you know what I'm saying? Like with the whole Shine project. Yeah. So where was I? Yeah. So I never, when my music kind of being, Drake-ish, I'm always trying to make a hit. Like, you know what I'm saying?
right,
I just
right.
didn't feel like it would resonate with my fans as
To-
as a whole, even though I can still do, even just like Alum Vice, I can still do that and make it entertaining. It would just seem like a complete like drop off, So,
Right.
I had, and there was plenty, I want y'all to know too, there have been plenty times in my career where I try to do collab tapes with other people. I try to do a collab tape with Young Trapper. I tried to do a collab tape with MB Coke. There was part in time I tried to do a collab tape with First Shift. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
There's a song in my catalog called Weird. Is a single that was supposed to have First Shift on there. It was, and I think also one of the songs on Shine originally was supposed to have Shift on there. It was First Shift on there was Good Everywhere. I had originally wrote that and it was meant for First Shift, but
Okay.
I think around that time he had stuff that he was working on, and I think life, and it just all didn't match up. We never even really discussed the project even anymore after what I'm saying initially. But me personally, I work a lot different than a lot of other people when it comes to music, right? I'm quick, so it's like we said we're gonna make some music, I'm on it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yes, sir.
I would literally send you 5 songs, you know what I'm saying, in a span of like 3 days, you know what I mean? And you know what I mean? And I mean, I done got on the internet, I done found the beat, you know what I'm saying? I didn't did the whole, I done recorded it, I didn't send you one, and typically it kind of leaves people feeling overwhelmed, you know what I mean? Like, 'cause, a lot of people like
It
to,
can.
record at their own time, and you know what I'm saying? Sometimes the mood gotta be right, a lot of different artists need a lot of different things. Like, you know what I'm saying? It even happened that way with, me and 422 and 4200, you know what I'm saying? It's like, because there was a lot of songs we had to choose from, but it was like, he'd be sitting over 4 songs, you know what I'm saying, that he gotta, write verses to, and this is then a third. So, but yeah,
Yes.
but overall, Alan Vice, he was, Alan Vice, he was, he was really involved in that process. We, I think, what we both brought to the table, you know what I'm saying, was I don't know, it was perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that was the smoothest collaborative effort, you know what I'm saying, that I've had for sure.
I would put him, if I wanted as collab, he'd be in my top 3. Like, I'd want to collab with.
Yeah, nah,
Alan's like that.
Yeah, nah, for sure. He's an all around creative dude too. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm just learning more about him. Like, not only like, I would say in the past year, probably, I've learned more so about him, but he's ridiculously. He got bars, man. So like I was like, dang, like I ain't know IVRY got bars like it. I don't know if Allen brought it out of him. You feel me? I don't know, but like this is dope. I did not expect going through your catalog. Then I heard that. I'm like, dang, I'm about that because I made an IVRY playlist. You know, I make like before somebody comes on, I'm gonna make a playlist. I'm gonna kind of get my shit in order. And I was like, I'm gonna need to take at least three songs off this motherfucker put on the playlist. You feel me? Like y'all snapped on that motherfucker. So for our listeners, like I said, we here with IVRY. 200 underscore. No, that's a dope project. The Shining is what we're referring to. These two. So go ahead.
So about like you sending songs out, you get your shit done quickly. Is it anything to do? It's just me thinking, like you've went out on a limb, not really a limb. You followed your dreams, so that's what you do. Like that's your job. You make music. Are you working with artists that maybe haven't, so they got like an actual job, and then they, you know what I mean, they ain't getting to the recording soon enough, or your work ethic, is
It's
just
just
It's completely honest. It's my, I say it's my work ethic. You know what I mean? Because unfortunately, at the moment, like rapping ain't the only thing that's ever going, that's gonna pay the bills. But
right.
For me, the way that I work, I understand, like is to me, the music is like sacred. Like it don't come from me; it comes from somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? I'm literally just a vessel. Like you know what I'm saying. So when I feel it, when I hear a beat, and whatever. Like majority of the songs that I write them while I'm doing other shit. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, I'd be at work, I might be in the car. You know what I'm saying?
I'll be
I could
doing the
be.
same shit.
I can be anywhere, I can be like I can be anywhere and I can be doing anything. And some of the best songs I've ever written have been in the midst of me doing other
Others.
things. And and I also like when I record, when I typically need to record that immediately. Like you know what I mean? Like when I make a song, I need to get it down, I need to record it, and then when I record, I don't go back over anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I sit here, I need to record this, and I need to get it done the first time. Like, you know what I'm saying? I need to within this session, it has to be finished because I need to be able to capture the emotion. You know what I'm saying? I need to be
I'll
able
be
to
feeling
capture
the same way, bro.
within that.
It'd be hard.
Right.
It'd be hard to go back and re-record something, not because
Yeah.
of that, but because of exactly what you're saying. How can I go capture
raw
that shit
emotion.
again?
It's hard to
Yeah.
It's
get
hard
the
to
raw
do it.
emotion
It may
again.
take 67. You
Yeah.
feel me?
But we're gonna get that motherfucker done.
Yeah,
When you go back and
100%.
try to do it, you know what I'm saying? Like it just may be some
Yeah.
shit like that. So yeah.
For me, it's always been my work ethic. And like I said, other artists, like, like as artists, we all have like things that I can't create on an empty stomach. You know what I'm saying? Because everything just
Neither.
naturally sounds like like when I'm hungry, everything sounds like a bad idea. Like I can't even tell you what I want to eat when when I get to a certain point of like hunger. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just like, hey, everything sounds bad.
Anything.
Let's just get something. Like, you know what I mean?
Anything.
You know what I mean? So
Chicken tenders and a burrito. I don't give a shit.
you feel me? So it's like after I get to, so that, I mean, that's like the only rule of creativity that I have. Like, you know what I mean? Is I can't do it on the empty stomach. I can't write lyrics on the empty stomach. I can't do nothing on the empty stomach because it just all sounds like a bad idea. Other people, you know what I'm saying? Other people need certain things, you know what I'm saying? They need, to be at a certain level of relaxation. You know what I mean? Some
Right.
people need, you know, to be in a dark room. Some people might need, certain lights. And it's just all things that, create that space for them to be able to, to be able to create. I don't really have, a lot of those restrictions that a lot of, other artists have when it come to, creating something. Like I said, because I understand that, like I said, I'm a vessel. The creativity flows through me. You know what I mean? Sometimes I be listening to the raps like, nigga, what did I
Get into
say?
that.
But, sometimes it seems otherworldly. It don't seem like, it don't seem like it's coming through me. It
The
seems like it's coming
disassociation.
through. Yeah, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So yeah, it's mostly the work ethic.
On that tip though,
Right.
because I know you
I
about
might
to
have
go.
a
I was about
follow
to
up
say,
for you.
because on that tip though, because I'm like me and Rashad talk about this all the time. When you hear something, when you write something, maybe a song you never put out, maybe something, and then you hear somebody else say a bar that's like it or the same, and you thinking, hold on, did we just download that same information from the ether? Like, you feel me?
Bro.
But one of us just put it out, or one of us just perfected, or one of us. So do you ever feel that way yourself?
I felt that way with I felt that way with I felt that way, but 9 times out of 10, it's literally like long after. Like, you know what I mean? It'd be something that like I have something I've like it's never been like on some like,
Right.
something I was going to put out. Like once I make something and I have and I'm like, it is what it is. It'll just sit, in my
Right.
files.
Right.
Typically I'll see an idea sometimes I see the idea that mirrors it for sure. But it doesn't happen it doesn't happen that often. Sometimes I feel like sometimes I feel like the ideas, because I understand, you know what I'm saying, like what this is, like, you know what I mean? Because I feel like, because I understand what it is, and I try to put out everything, and I try to use, everything that is given to me, you know what I'm saying? I feel like some of it is kind of safeguarded,
I feel that
I need
just
to
to
be better at that.
expand.
Listen to him. I'm like,
Right,
okay,
right.
I'm listening. I'm
But
listening.
just to expand on what he's saying, we have this idea of like 100 people get this thought in the world.
Mhm.
Who's gonna act on it? You know what I mean? Who's
gonna
gonna
put
act
it out?
on these words, whatever it is, whatever field you're in? Like that's kind of what he's saying. Cause like I've had ideas that I didn't act on. You know what I mean? I'm like, that ain't that good. But then somebody's making money off of it. And it's not even necessarily about the money. Somebody put it out.
And it's an
And
actual tangible
it's a thing. And you
Yeah.
just like, dang, like, why am I second guessing myself? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just feel like 100 people, whoever, like the number I made up, but get this thought, this idea, and whoever acts on it first, like, but what you just said, like, I feel that,
Yeah.
this shit safeguarded. Like, it was meant
Yeah.
for
And
me
I
to
mean,
put it out.
But I
too,
feel the
like,
same way about shit too, though. So I'm like, I understand exactly what you're saying on that tip
Right.
too.
and then me too, like, some of the songs that I create, you know what I mean, that I have, I think I have a lot of music that I've like never done anything with. Like I literally have smaller projects in between these projects that didn't come out, and then I mean, but those songs, like,
Okay.
like, you know what I'm saying? I'm still not above putting those songs out. I'm not above selling those songs to other people who make music. Like and I think it's safeguarded in that way because like, because it's like, because like I said, the things, the ideas that I get, I typically act on them. I act on them fast. Like, you know what I mean? And
Okay.
I see it, I see it all the way through, you know what I'm saying? And I try to, get it out into the world, you know what I'm saying, as quickly as possible. And or like, you know what I'm saying, it still hasn't went to waste. And I understand that, like, I feel like there's a lot of songs that I have that I truly feel in my soul that I'm gonna give to like other people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because like, I've written so many songs like outside of just like my rap genre, you know what I'm saying, that are amazing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like at one point in time I had this whole dance, like after like Drake came out with Honestly Never Mind, I had like a whole dance project with just all types of different dance music. Two songs on IVRY EP came from that project. It was Life with You and Confusion.
Okay.
Those two songs were
really, because that's
on there.
Confusion's one of my favorite songs on that motherfucker. But keep going.
I appreciate that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, like I'm like, I mean, I'm not I understand where it comes from. I understand that I understand this is above me, and I understand that, these ideas are, you know what I'm saying, it'd be a shame to waste them, like, you know what I'm saying, because
Right.
they belong somewhere, out there in the world. And I'm never like, and there's I forgot what it was. There's something in the Bible where they talk about, I think in the Bible terms they talk about it, they use the word jobs, like, you know what I'm saying? And it was just like God, gave, this person X amount of jobs, and you know what I'm saying, they used everything that God gave them. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that parable. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was like that one person that, God gave you this and you just held on. You buried, it was like he buried his. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was
Yes.
like, I'll never give you another one. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
and so, because I respect that, I feel like, a lot of like I said, it has happened sometimes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or there might have been ideas that I've had that like people thought that I was crazy for. Like I remember at one point in time, like I was making like really short songs, and people was telling me like, don't make short songs. Don't like I make short songs for people who have shorter attention spans. You know what I'm saying? This was around like I think it was around like the For My People, like when I started writing that, and then around like
Okay.
2001, people was telling me like, don't make short songs. Like, why are
You
your
saw
songs
it
so short?
coming.
You know what I mean? And now it's like, songs are literally short. Like, you know what I mean? Now, like, there was a point in times where all songs are short. Now we at a period where
Who
songs are,
makes 3-verse songs? Who makes
yeah,
3
you
verse?
know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, you might hear a song that now, if you hear a song that's like 4 minutes, is because it like has like this musical bridge in
Bridge.
Right.
between.
That's literally what I was about to say. The bridge. It's 2
Yeah,
in a bridge that wraps
yeah,
around and makes it 3 something. You feel me?
yeah. But other than that, it's literally like, two and some change.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Dope. Yeah. Confusion. Dope song. A dope song. That would transition us to Ivory, I guess.
Yeah.
It's self-proclaimed EP titled after you. Generally, when people do that, it's generally like a culmination. That's
Mhm.
it's a statement, or it's like a project that best represents them. So, how did we get to that point?
I think, like I said, I think for me, within my catalog, I have a lot of different projects, a lot of different sounds, a lot of different vibes.
Right.
And I think I wanted this one to be a resume of who I am. You know what I'm saying? Just literally just a musical resume. Like, you can hear that project and hear everything that I am. I think the only like sounds that I've like really left off there. What I don't say that I left off, but I didn't dive into too crazy, was the bag of my project Ego. That was like the only, I think with that song Let Me on my IVRY EP, you kind of get that, but still not in this, totality. Yeah, overall, that's what I want. I mean, this IVRY EP, even though it is like it's all those songs, but it wasn't like a mixtape for me. I feel when you call something a mixtape, it just kind of gets like a whatever kind of,
I already know.
and then it didn't feel like an album, like, what I'm saying, because like I said, I wanted to make a musical resume, you know what I mean? Overall, that's what that was for me. It was this is who I am, this is what you can expect from me. I make, great music all throughout, like, you know what I mean? And I really just wanted to showcase that to, the best of my ability on that project.
Makes sense. So, like within the genre of Ivory, these are all the subgenres. These are all
Yeah.
you feel me? Instead of how we were talking about, where we go from, like in real life to 42 die somebody to, how those were ebbs and flows. The whole project
Yeah.
was an ebb and flow of your subgenres, which
Mhm.
as a listener, I definitely noticed. You know what I'm
I
saying?
appreciate
It was more, we were banging. You know what I'm
it. Yeah.
saying? Like the first ones, like we were vibing, we were banging. We were, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you could ride that high, like I told you as a listener, from the first 6 to 10 tracks. And then as we
Mhm.
get to the latter part of it, it's like we start getting a little bit more abstract with this, like
Yeah.
you said, songs like Confusion or just a little bit more experimental or
Yeah.
things like that. Like now I'm starting to understand the whole bandwidth or scope of the artist I'm
Yeah.
dealing with. You know what I'm saying?
When I was a kid, I was a writer. I used to win awards for like my writing pieces. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when they used to make you write like short stories and personal narratives.
Yeah.
Like that. I used to win awards for my writings in school. So it's like whenever I lay out my projects, like I'm always real intentional on like the story that's being told within the, you know what I mean? So, it's like so with the Ivory EP, like, just like that, I wanted it to come out like, I wanted to come out, I wanted to come out with a bang, you know what I'm saying? Just something to kind of like, really capture your attention and, reel you in, and, you ride that high all the way up, to the top, you know what I'm saying? And then it kind of like, it starts to mellow out. And then of course, like, towards the end, it gets a little more, you get hints of like the little, kind of upbeatness, like, you know what I'm saying? You know, yeah, I've always been really intentional on, like I said, the story that my songs are telling within the project. And then also too with that project, it was like I've always said that if my life was a movie, it'd be a ballad, like it'd be a love story.
Man.
Like, you know what I'm saying? If you if you listen to it it kind of, it kind of like starts like, it kind of starts like on a, like, like, I guess like kind of like when you, like, when you single and you kind of living your life, like, what I'm saying? It's, it's these high moments and it's, woo woo. And then you kind of get to like a part, like, what I'm saying, where you kind of meet somebody, you start falling for them. And that's kind of when you get around, like, you kind of get around like good hands, like, what I'm saying? And you kind of like balance. And it's like,
Right.
you get to the point where you ask yourself, like, do I want to be single or do I want to, like, what I'm saying, embark on this journey. And then once you, start to dive into the relationship, what I'm saying, then you gotta really like unpack, what I'm saying, your life and your relationship. And, you start to really see, what I'm saying, your flaws and, where, areas where you need to grow or areas where you thought you healed from certain stuff. And what I'm saying, you kind of ride that all the way through. You kind of ride that ride all the way through the project, and then you get to that project, you get to four for four,
Yeah.
the 4 for 4, and then it gets to a point where it's just like, you know what, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? We gonna kind of, we gonna kind of you kind of, it kind of starts over from that point, and then you get, you know, life with you in confusion, like, what I'm saying, because now
Yeah.
you back at that point where it's like, you know, you don't know if, this thing or this person that you kind of, with is just like if it's, if it's a fling or if it's the real thing, like, what I'm saying, you just kind of, going through the motions. And so like, in the midst of me putting out this resume, what I'm saying, the music, like I wanted it to still tell a story on, where, like I still wanted to tell a story of my life, like the emotions that, like, the roller coaster that I've like found myself in, what I'm saying, in life. Because, regardless of it just being a resume on music, it still means something to me and it's still a part of my story. And I wanted to make sure, it told that.
It did it all. It definitely did it all.
Real
I ain't gonna
quick,
lie. Go ahead.
between like you and Study, I truly enjoy like all the interviews we do. But something about you, I don't know if you know, I'm talking about Study.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, the study. That's my dog, man.
Okay.
We actually cool.
Okay. So
Shout out Study. Shout out the gang.
the way that the word you use, intentional, and the way y'all think about music, it really blows my mind for real. Like just when y'all start to speak about it,
Mm.
and then like Marcus keeps saying, like you starting to understand the artist I'm listening to and like how y'all view it, it blows my mind. Like it makes me feel like y'all really gonna make it. Like y'all already living y'all's dreams. But I mean like top make as far as y'all want to go with it. You know what I mean?
Right. More so. Right. There you go.
I appreciate that for real.
But
Yeah,
that is
nah,
true.
I ain't gonna lie. I really do. I appreciate that. And I was like, Study. Study. He's a solid dude. I really I really like his music and what he did, and even, what I'm saying, with his project he just dropped, like, what I mean, how it was like how he had those, like, somebody who's like not in Louisville no more, like, what I
Thank
mean,
you.
like hearing those different, like, skits and, what I'm saying, just the
Thank
music
you.
as a whole, like it definitely made me feel, it made me feel like I was, like I was back home.
Some real Louisville shit.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, why I ain't never did this? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Right.
We already told him.
Right.
Yeah. So nah, for sure.
We had the
I
same
definitely,
conversation.
I definitely rock with Study. I think he's another one of those dudes, like, what I'm saying, that kind of, what I'm saying, I think just solid all around, another one of those solid all around rap dudes who don't, like, what I'm saying, who don't really lead with like, ego first.
Shout out Steady. Legend. Songs that stand out on your project, of course. I mean, I could go through it, but if I really want to talk about for me, just personally, of course, let me.
Let me hold some coochie till I get on my feet. Don't gotta be in the street, just keep it discreet, and you can get pinned to the sheets. You ain't even gotta do all the shopping around, little baby, just bring it to me, baby.
That's a dope concept.
Yeah.
And Mad in the Middle.
This not a riddle. Diamonds got colors like bags of the Skittle. My bag is a little. He thought he was hard, but he mad cause he brittle. I'm up at the top and you mad in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
That's that. I don't know. Maybe if it stands out to other people, but that one stood out. Shy on the beat, I'm guessing. And
Yeah,
was that him?
sure.
Was that him in the video with you?
Nah, that
That's what I
was
was
my.
about to say. That's what I was like, because I've never met Shy, but
Yeah,
I didn't
nah,
think
Shy.
it
That was
was him from afar.
no, that was the homie Chase. She was in the video with me. That
Okay.
we shot that out. I shot that out in LA. That beat that believe it or not, Shy actually he hates that beat. He
No,
does
he
not like
does
that beat.
not.
He hates
No,
that beat.
he
I
does not.
I found that sample and I wanted him to sample it and he just like, he just I think he just kinda like kinda threw a beat together, you know what I mean? And I had rapped on it and he was like, I mean, I really like what you're saying. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think the song is bad, but like, I don't like the beat at all. Like, you
That's
know what I mean? Like, to the
crazy.
point where when it came to like, when it came to like buying the beat, he was just like, just give me whatever you want for it because I don't like it. And I was like, and I'm like,
Right. You like
that sounds like a setup because it's like, I don't want to give you something, something too, too low. Like, you know what I'm saying? But you also
right.
telling me like, give you whatever.
You
So
trying to
I'm not going
disown
to
this
like,
motherfucker.
you know what I'm saying? Like I ain't trying to shoot myself in the foot and give you too much because I'm just trying to be this, whatever. I'm just trying to be this over around nice guy and you willing to give it
Right.
to me for next to nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he was just, and so, I ended up just, I ended up paying for the beat, you know what I'm saying? I don't remember what it was, but I knew it would, I know I didn't want to just like completely like lowball this man. I also didn't want to just, like I said, just overly, overpay him on something he didn't even, care about or even wasn't even looking for. But yeah, nah, he actually, he hated that beat. He hated that beat. But, I feel like that song, within my, within me, telling you how I laid the track list out.
Right.
That one just felt like closing credits, to me. And
Mm.
so that was why, that one had to be there. Like, you know what I mean? And then also I really loved, I really loved the raps, that I had put there. When I was 6, my bitches really was 7. That was a part of my real life.
I love that. Hey, I love that line, bro.
Nah, for real.
He said I never went past 11 or something.
I
But
think that
no,
was like the first song I listened to when Marcus was like, "Hey, there's this guy named Ivory," and this was a few weeks
couple
ago,
months. Okay, I was
Yeah.
about to
maybe
say
months ago.
maybe my.
But
Yeah, I was about
I
to say
just went and randomly started listening to some stuff, and I heard that first, and that stood out to me too. I was like, "That's funny."
that
Yeah, no,
is.
I literally remember being 6 and my girlfriend being 7 and thinking like, wow, like what's next? 8?
Hey,
Like,
right, exactly. I'm pulling
like,
second graders,
I'm pulling. Hey,
you know what I'm
third
saying?
graders, y'all better watch out.
right?
So, but yeah, nah, like, so yeah, yeah, that was one song that I can actually say that I had a hand in it from beginning to finish. Like I said, I picked the sample and was like, hey, like,
Right.
sample is fun, you know. Yeah, me and Shy, we have a extensive like career together. Like he was like one of the first. I think he might really be one of the only him, and I think a couple of music run with like Dope Boy people whose like beats I actually like rap on. Rap on from the city. Like Shy he made Too Much Ass on Ego. He
Okay.
did he did
I
he
like the way a
did.
sample comes in. I like the way a sample comes in.
There's a song on Die Somebody he did. He didn't want to play. He didn't want to play. He did that beat. He did
Oh,
99
99 point.
FM.
Yeah, he did 99.
Yeah, he did
Okay.
that one. You know what I'm saying?
You
He's
can start
sprinkled
the
all
tip.
the way throughout all throughout my catalog. He's absolutely like, me personally, I always try to fit somebody, I always try to fit him in whenever I can. But, now I think, he's grown it, he's grown in his own, his
Right.
own actual artist,
Right. Right.
and now he has a collective of people that he
Messes with.
that he actually messes with. So I try not to dive in too much and
Getting
intervene
aware of
on his
that.
vision. You know what I'm saying? But that's definitely one of my long term collaborators, and I love working with Shy, man. He's a good dude, and I ain't gonna like kind of fucks me up too, because when we first started working, he was young, like you know what I mean. Now his
Yeah.
voice
Yeah.
tall and shit.
Because I was hearing about him, but I was like, I was hearing
Yeah,
about him, but like you said, young and shit. And I'm like, and then watch
yeah,
him bloom to what he's become. He's one of my favorite producers around.
yeah.
For
Nah,
sure.
for sure.
Not without a doubt. Shout out all them niggas though. Shout out Otez. Shout out. I saw you got a song with Otez too, don't you?
Yeah, me and Otez, we got a we don't. So
that's what I was about to say. That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, he was making beats at that. Well, he still does make beats, but he
does it all.
Yeah, he was on the beat. He was on a beat tape with Shot. He's on Shot's beat tape. They got me on a song. And Otez made like the outro. Now me and Otez, we super cool. That's one of my dogs. Not to be like that. When Otez was, getting his setup together and, trying to make music and stuff, we was talking and I had an extra audio interface. I shipped it out there to him, you know what I'm saying? Just because, he hates being called down to his little brother, just because he don't want to be in his shadow, you know what I'm saying? But I've known him for a while, you know what I'm saying? I know that, it was Dom's, Dom's little brother. And, I really do believe in the music, did believe in the music he was making. So, I had an extra audio interface, and I always tell myself I was going to give it to somebody who I felt like, was going to put it to good use. And, you know what I'm saying?
I'm glad you gave it to him. Because I hit him up. I told him if you ever need anything, man, just hit us up. Because I told him I mess with his music too. So all of them, man. That's crazy. I got a Forrest story. You know Forrest?
Yeah, I know Forrest.
I was about to say, because y'all should be the same like age and both out in LA.
Yeah. We were.
I gave them some shit too.
It was like, I know Forrest. We kind of like, I don't say we kind of not grew up on two separate sides of the music, you know what I'm saying? But like, you know what I mean? Like, for the most part, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know who he is, he know who I am, it's all love. But I said we never really worked together, done much together, just because, like, like literally just because we were literally just kind of like on two separate sides of it, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think.
But they still have a lot in common though.
Right.
Like a slew, like some slew features or just some shy shit or just you'd be like, oh, okay. Like,
it's almost like
or just whatever.
I don't know how to say it, like a 1 and a 0. Like if you're talking about the Matrix, like, you know what I mean? Like crazy.
They run parallel to each other, like so they, you know what I'm saying? But that's how people's energy. It's just energy. It ain't even got nothing to do with people.
Right.
When two people on the similar journeys, that's how it be.
Yeah.
Feel me? So I think about that shit all the time. And then we talked all this time about music. We didn't even talk about vlogging. You talked about how your days LimeWire and the Boondocks and Lil Wayne dedication and Canon freestyles turned all the way into this, and then we get into you vlogging. How'd you get started into that? And
I think it was just more so wanted to be, we live in a world now where, in order to be a rapper, you gotta be a content creator.
That's what I figure.
And I wanted to be. I've always been a camera person. Love cameras. You know what I'm saying? I have a camera collection. You know what I'm saying? Like I had digital cameras. I got Super 8 cameras. I had a VHS camera. Like like one literally that takes VHS tapes and records on it. I have literally so many cameras. And I've always when I moved out here before I moved, I had bought a camera because I wanted to start documenting my life. And you know what I'm saying? And I had did a few things where, I kind of like, I guess, fell off of it a little bit, but it just kind of got into a part where I just wanted to be more control of my story. You know what I'm saying? I understand that in order to be a brand, people got to know, like, people got to know what they buying into.
Yep.
It's more than just having good music. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta be a man of the people. And I'm also very introspective. There's a lot of things about me that I want people to know, and I love platforms, like the ones that you have, also what you guys do is very far and few, you know what I'm saying? There's not a lot of it. And then like, there's in other instances, there's some like, politics and, stuff that come along with it all too. So, so just kind of being in control of my story and being able to like not have to wait for somebody to come along and, deem me as worthy to cover me. Like, I could cover myself and I could build, my fan. I can build up my fan base and really, just be able to reach out and touch my consumer. the people who listen to my music, people who fuck with me, I don't want them to feel like, you know, we too different. Like, I can make music and I can do all this creative stuff. I also have a lot more to share with the world. You know what I mean? I also like that has been my gateway into being able to just really connect with my consumer just a little more.
I agree with you on that though, because as a viewer, just me personally, I'm like, nah, this nigga's cool. You feel me? Or this nigga acts like me. You feel me? He says a lot of shit I say. You feel me? Or just he don't take himself too serious.
That's because I'm the realest nigga of all.
You feel me? Just certain shit like that where I'm like, you get these different versions where it's like, it makes me actually look at other people and be like, damn, I wish some of y'all would do some shit like this too, because then I could better understand. Or like I would, that's weird to say, I would enjoy your shit more or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But what you're saying is correct. It's like what I'm buying into. And it's like, I might not be buying anything, but I start to listen to it and be like, oh, this is what he's like. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just making judgments off the way some bars sound.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what I'm
100%.
saying? So,
No, 100%. It makes you, it becomes a little more personable. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, with any brand, with anything, we all buy into something. Like, you know what I'm saying? People buy Mercedes because, they,
right.
because they say a certain thing, you know what I'm saying? Because they, they say a certain thing about them and their lifestyle. Like, they connect with them on that. You know what I mean? So just giving people something more, to connect with me on. Like, you know what I mean? I've always been able to, I feel like, I've always been able to, like touch people that I can actually connect with in real life. It appeared to me like, a lot of people will never get to see me. They only, they only know what they hear, what they see, and what they can kind of try to piece together,
And also, I feel like it's dope because, like, we still in Louisville. Like, there's a good part of your fan base is still in Louisville and shit like that. So it's like, what's my man's doing out there? How can I see? How can I keep up to that? And he's still doing that too. So it's like you also bridging the gap in that way as well. So when I look at it, I'm just like, effective. You know what I'm saying? That's why I look at it, I'm like, it's effective. Like, and then you come back for Derby, and then now your maybe a California constituents is now looking at, oh, this was Derby, like, oh, okay, you feel me? And now, like, that's what I'm saying, like bridging gaps in so many different ways, where it's just like it just it does a lot of things at one time, but no, it's entertaining. It's entertaining too. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
And then your last one. Is it your last one where you went to Palmdale?
Yeah, me and my girlfriend, we had went to Palmdale and stayed in this little.
Did you watch it, Rashad?
No, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, it was a.
Like, that was my favorite one. I ain't gonna lie. Like, as a nigga, you probably like, but I guess that's dope. But keep going.
Yeah, no, so I was like I said, yeah, it was me and my girl. We had went to went to Palmdale and stayed in one of those I don't know what you call them, the little, like, they call it glamping. You know what I'm saying? Because you in like one of those domes. And
it's a sphere. It's like one of those. It looked like a little biodome or something. It's like a little sphere sitting on. But it was dope. You gotta watch it. For all my viewers, our community, y'all have to watch it to see the setup and of it. All that shit was dope. Keep going.
Yeah. No, that shit was fire, man. It was I ain't gonna lie, man. That was the first time I'm not gonna say the first time I ever been camping. I had seen y'all interview with Forrest, and I know when y'all was talking about, he was talking about camping,
right?
And that was the first time that I'd ever been like camping, kind of like on like as an adult, like on my own, some shit that, I mean, I've been camping with like my school, everything's kind of set up for you, this is then the third, but that was a different experience, and I don't think that will probably be the only way that I ever camp, because like they had like an outhouse, so it's like an actual bathroom, like, there was no like actual water. They had like water reserves. There was not actually no water right there, but you could still like flush the toilet. Like you had to like pump, like you could wash your hands. You had to pump it with your legs to like, wash it. The dome had like a heater on the inside. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was like, it was a lot of things that you don't really think about when it comes to camping, that I'm so glad that we had, like, you know what I'm saying?
Already
like,
had it established type shit.
A safe space where you can go to the bathroom. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if anything was to come up on you while you're using the bathroom, you're
good.
Done. You know what I mean? At least like I'm in you feel me? Like, You know what I'm saying? Like it was definitely a fire experience. Like I can't camp no other way. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you've never been camping, 100% camp in one of them domes. Like, you know what I mean? Because it was fire. I found it on Airbnb too.
Yep.
So you ever on Airbnb, you ever in a place where, you know, camping can happen. Saying hop on Airbnb and see what they got on there, because if you find something like that, man, that really made the camping experience, you know, worth it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I couldn't imagine being out there cold, body on the ground, you know, having to use the bathroom in a pitch black dark. It was, you know, it had a TV and everything in there. Like, you know.
Listen. Especially with your chick. Me and Rashad doing that. Alright, dude. They be alright. Shit. But you bring your girl, you gotta glamp. You gotta glamp, bro. You got to do it right too, like you saying. So when I saw the little spot and everything, I'm like, he did it right, bro. I'm like, that's nice. But not only that, I guess, I mean, it's a spoiler for the people who ain't watching, but he asked her to be his girlfriend, like, live on the shit. That's why I was like, just shit like that. I'm like, that's dope. Like, I ain't gonna lie, like, intimate. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit like that's not for everybody. Like, not everybody can do that. And then both of them, you know, just sharing it and shit like that. I just thought that was dope, man. That's like, small shit like that is like, damn, nigga. I could never not ever like a song from you. I'm still gonna support you. You feel me? Like, you feel me? Like, shit like, it's just small shit where I'm like, that's dope. That's just dope. So it's just, I'm like, yeah. You gotta keep doing that. For our viewers, please go check out his vlogs. Like I said, at 200_. Our boy IVRY joining us. But the vlogs, definitely keep that shit up. Is there anything else you have, Rashad, before I ask about future shit?
No, he touched on so much shit just within his answers.
I know, that's what I was about to say. We had like a script of answers, but throw it away. We knocked out about 80% of it. You feel me? Script of questions, my bad. But yeah, with all that being said, I mean, shit, we in this long. What's to come? What can we expect from IVRY? You feel me?
I mean, y'all can definitely expect some more songs before the year's over. I got a feature on that 422's new project.
We gotta tap in with him. We gotta tap in.
I don't wanna spoil a name and that, you know what I'm saying?
That's cool. Yeah.
You know, I really like the title of the project. You know what I'm saying? He got a lot of songs on there. You know, for this project, it's almost like he's making up for old times. Like,
okay.
Earlier in the not early in the year, maybe like a couple years ago, you know what I'm saying? He got into a really bad car accident and almost lost his life. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was real shaky. You know, him coming back doing this, you know what I'm saying? I'm proud of him. And, you know, it's really a big moment for him. You know, I got a feature on there. And then, you know, I got some other songs some stuff, you know, coming out this summer. You know, right now in my career, you know what I'm saying? I just really wanna, you know, have fun. You know what I'm saying? Have fun with it, keep having fun. You know, just for the most part, what's to come is literally just like, you know, it's for fun. You know what I'm saying? It's for fun. It's a lot of that energy, you know what I'm saying, in the music.
But we'll be on the lookout, not only 422, but everything you got going on, from vlogs to new songs yourself to whatnot.
Is your cousin out there with you, or is he in Louisville?
No, he's in Louisville still. Yeah, he's in Louisville. He might have something out there for like you know, like an out release party or something to that. Yeah. But yeah.
What's his social media? Do you know?
It's I think it's Montre. So it's because that's his actual name is MON. I think it's MONT.RE or MONTR.E or something like that. Yeah, something along those.
I'm trying to go follow him and make sure to tag him in any stuff we got. I'm trying to think. I want to make sure we didn't forget anything.
Yeah, Montre.
Oh, yeah. Because I saw that on one of the credits on the song.
Yeah.
Because I saw that, I'm like, I know some white leffers, but I was like, I don't know no black leffers. I thought it was funny. Blake, right? Is that her name? Is the girlfriend? Is that her name?
Clark. Her name's
Clark. I don't know why I have that. Maybe it was autocorrect because I'm like.
No, I was about to say her name is. I mean, literally, it's CLA KE. So like literally, you just mix the
Oh, okay.
like if you really
Okay.
move C and the B,
Okay. That's
it would
why
be the same.
I was like, Blake, why did I write Blake? But I was like, when she said she stole something on accident, I was crying.
I mean,
She stole it.
I didn't steal it. It was on accident.
Because my girl
Yeah,
my girl said that my girl said the same exact thing on God, bro. She's but listen to this, bro. She stole like a 24 case of like she walked out with it. It's not like no one
Yeah.
stopped.
Oh, the
Like
water?
a 20 case of like Lonnie or something. Like we had it in our refrigerator for I don't know how long. I'm like, it was like $50. You just walked out the front door with it. And it's
Yeah, I ain't
just
gonna lie. She was Clark. She had stole. She had stole it was like a hoodie. She had no clue that we were going, like what we were doing or anything. She thought we was going back home or something. And
okay.
I had packed like I said, literally, she know like I had literally packed like stuff for her to be cold, with.
Okay. Yeah.
But she was just like, it's been chilly, and we had when we were in the store, like I had got like groceries and like stuff that I could like cook, 'cause they had like a grill and stuff out there. So I had all the stuff, and she had threw a jacket on the inside of her arm, and the whole time, like she's talking to the lady, making jokes and shit. She got this jacket on the inside of her arm, and it got to a point where I seen the jacket and I peeped, and I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna let her ride.
Right.
I
was about to say the same thing. I done accidentally on purpose stole some shit. Like,
Okay, boy, you
I didn't
Tauruses, boy. I'm gonna watch y'all.
I didn't purposely like not scan it, but before I got done, I realized I didn't scan
You
it. But
realized
like he
it,
said,
but
I was
then
like, I'm gonna let
it's
this
too
shit
late.
rock.
It's too late
I'm
anyways.
gonna let this shit rock.
I'm just going. And motherfucker, I can say it was genuinely accident up until this
Literally,
point. So,
right.
so
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look at the camera. Like
Right,
you know what I'm
right.
saying? You can
You're-
see it in my face. I
Right.
look, you know?
That's hilarious.
No.
That one was a good one. Oh yeah, on your camping trip, what's
Mm.
your top meal to make? If you had to make something, what's your top meal?
I ain't gonna lie. So I'm vegan. So when we was on camp, we was camping. I had made I just made like some shish kebabs, some vegetable shish kebabs for me, and I had made her chicken. And just cause I wasn't always vegan, so you know what I'm saying. Like I still know how to
Yeah.
cook chicken and do shit like that. But I ain't gonna lie though. But I think as far as like camping and shit, cause out here in LA they got this beach. It's called Dockweiler. And you could they got like fire pits. You know what I'm saying? I'm a
Dope.
real big s'mores maker. You know what I'm
Ooh,
saying?
okay. Rashad mess with you on that one.
Right.
Yeah.
I get the the graham crackers with the cinnamon on the outside.
Yep, of
Yep.
course.
Get those. You get vanilla marshmallows. You know what I'm saying? Vanilla marshmallows, and then you get I always use like sweet dark chocolate because I'm vegan now, but you know what I'm saying? Just get chocolate, vanilla marshmallows, and them cinnamon
And the
them cinnamon
cinnamon
joints.
with the dark.
Yeah.
It sounds dope.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie.
Nah, I'm telling you, it hits out of this world.
Different flavor s'mores, all right.
The cinnamon with the
That's
dark
what I'm saying.
chocolate.
You can't go super crazy with the flavor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But vanilla cinnamon. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Subtle change, but
Yeah,
But-
it makes all the difference.
Right.
And like whenever I go, I always have like regular s'mores for everybody else, and then I I have some of those s'mores too. But like I said, because because I'm vegan, so I got to get different marshmallows and different chocolate. But the crack, I get regular crackers and the cinnamon crackers, and don't nobody ever want to touch the regular s'mores. They only want the vegan ones after. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Okay. I like that. So now we got to start experimenting, Ivory. We got to
Right.
start coming out with banana Foster s'mores. I need a banana on that
Right.
motherfucker. You feel me? I need that to the vlog. Since he likes s'mores, I need that on the vlog. I need them
I
to start
got you.
experimenting. You feel me? Then yeah. Now, next thing you know, we got a Ivory cookbook or something. I don't even know.
Nah, I actually was crazy. I
Ivory.
actually was going to school to be a chef before when I like in the midst of me trying to rap, like I was going to school to be a chef just because I like the creativity that cooking gave you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I like being able to just make something new, you know what I mean? But I actually the process of cooking is what I guess technically don't like. The fact that I gotta actually watch the food and wait till it's done, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a lot of patience, and then you gotta cook shit to the right. You
Yeah.
cook it a little too long, and so, and then they gotta look nice, and
Yeah, the
it was,
preparation, right.
yeah,
Yes,
you know what I'm
sir.
saying. But I mean, overall, I can't cook, and I can't cook, and the creativity of it is where I fucked with. But then, yeah, I was going to school to be a chef at one point.
Because you like cooking shit up. That makes
Yeah,
sense. That makes sense.
nah, for sure.
And then is my last one. March Madness question, because this will be probably a good reel. If you had to lose one way, would it be like Kansas, who lost to St. John's on a game-winning shot today, or would you rather lose like Vandy did on a game-winning shot you shot, but it rims out at the last second? Which way would you rather lose? Someone beat you on a game-winning shot, or you shoot and it rims out at the last second?
I'd rather somebody beat me on the game winner. I mean, hit me. Somebody hit a game winner shot on us, because it's like that. You know what I mean? Like,
I just want to make sure.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't cold.
I go crazy.
Y'all see the Louisville game the other day?
Of course, yeah.
Maybe
we'll finish on that.
You know, I watched that game. I was really disappointed, because it was like, you know, Louisville wasn't making their shots, so it's like, it's not like it was some bullshit calls in there, and the bullshit calls would have game. If the calls would have been made properly, you know what I mean? Like, for example, I think it was like a nigga car number 55.
Yeah.
They had called a foul on Louisville, and then when they played it back, it was no foul. He just like hit his own teammate the back of the head with the side.
I know.
And then like but instead of they had did a review to see if they was gonna upgrade it to flagrant. And then when they seen there was no foul, they just left it at a regular foul. It's like, come on,
bro. We gotta have some common sense. Like, there's gotta be some common sense to it.
I don't think they can take it away. And I understand what you're saying.
Right. But like, to have a rule where they're saying we can't take it away, but it's like, sure, we can't take it away unless it's something so egregious, like his teammates smacking him, that we just got to look at it and say, common sense wise, we can't give this man a foul.
Nah, real talk. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, it was, you know, that shit was that was, you know, I don't know, that was.
I know what you mean though. Like, we didn't play a perfect game, but like, still, if you would have had some calls, at least just even out. And in that way, it could have turned into a possession game. Who knows what's a possession game now? You know what I'm saying? Just like that.
But I mean, with the number 55, he was putting up some highlights, like, you know what I'm saying? So
yes, he was.
It seemed like they was, after a while, they would just let him have his way out there.
I know. It felt like a little bit of giving up the rope. Like just a little bit, and then now next thing you know, they flexing and, you know, putting a exclamation on it and shit.
Yeah, but yeah, to answer your question, man, I'd 100%, I'd have somebody hit a game winning shot on me. You know what I'm saying? Versus me missing that motherfucking rim, and I'd quit basketball.
Right, that hurts.
What about you, Rashad?
I agree. And somehow I knew he was gonna say that too. Like, it's like almost like, hey, I couldn't do nothing about that, because some of those game winners, it's like, bro, I mean, my hand was in his face. Like, I can't do nothing about that. But you missing the shot, you're going to feel that the rest of your life.
Your life.
You be thinking about that, just sitting around like, I really missed that motherfucker.
I really missed a half-court shot that would have sent us to overtime and would have put me in.
It's the fact that it went in and came. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's
like, you had a glimpse of
it really rimmed out.
Victory.
That's wrong, God. That's wrong. Right. Just let me hear about next time.
You know what I'm saying? If you miss a game winning shot, you know what I mean?
Right.
That motherfucker in and out.
By the way, while I kept looking to the side, I was watching games while we were doing this. Fucking Iowa just ruined my bracket. They beat Florida, by the way.
It doesn't surprise me just because Florida. All right, y'all. Well, you'll know what I'll be watching when I get.
And then Alabama is giving it to Texas Tech, and
it doesn't surprise me.
They about to ruin my bracket too, because that was one of the, like, I try to choose smart upsets, and that was one I chose, but it don't look like that's happening. They getting handled right now. So
it doesn't seem too smart.
Exactly. No, for real. At this point.
Anything else you want to shout out? Any people, any project, anything you want to shout out? Anything coming up? Just whatever. Take your time.
Nah, not for the most part, man. Like I said, for the most part, keep streaming IVRY EP. You know what I'm saying? Definitely got more music on the way. You know, a lot of fun things. You know, I think just in my career as a whole, like, you know, I think this, you know, with this last hard reset, you know what I'm saying, of IVRY EP, I've really I've been wanting to really dial in more on my individuality. You know what I'm saying? Like what actually separates me from other artists. Like, which, comes with the, like the vlogs and all the other things and, that comes along with my music. This summer, a lot more of all of that.
Dope.
We
If
gonna
you
be on
back
the
in
lookout
Derby,
for sure.
if you back for Derby, we need another vlog. Hey,
So I will not. Oh, also I will not be back home for Derby, but I will be home in July. I think they're supposed to be having hip hop in the park. You know what I mean? So now I'm on the bill for the hip hop in the park in July. I think it's July 25th.
this July 25th. Okay, let's try to find a way to connect to
No,
something,
100%,
some way. Maybe we'll
Yeah,
try to get a run on those
I will
artists.
definitely be logged in. So
They definitely do. We love it.
yeah.
But all in all, man, y'all heard it here first. Ivy with the ODD, man. We appreciate your time. We've done a nice amount of time too in doing so. We broke down a lot of stuff. This might have to be a part 1, part 2 episode for consumption purposes. You feel me? But yeah, man. From South End to Algonquin to Broadway to Mr. Nas song "I Know I Can." all the way, all the way to Drake influences to what we talk T.I. and Yachty, Mr. Grand Theft Audio, For My People turned it into a brand, Feels in 2001, on Cloud and Hard Resets up to In Real Life, 4200. We talked it all. Ego to the max. I mean, man put in his work. The Shining, oh my gosh. All the way up to the IVRY EP. I mean, there's so many songs to enjoy. We're gonna create a playlist. I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna create a playlist and probably put it out just of what we rock with too. But we thoroughly appreciate your time, thoroughly appreciate your artistry, what you doing, how you doing it spiritually, mentally, physically, how you attacking it, the sacredness of it. And thanks for bringing it all to the iCast or the iPod where we can tell your story, put it all out there, and just make it an enjoyable conversation for others to do as well. So,
Man, I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate y'all for having a platform and, just giving the space for, artists, you know what I'm saying, to be able to, tell their story. It means a lot. And I'm glad that, you guys are out there doing that. And hopefully, you know what I'm saying, y'all continue to do that. Because like I said, this is, needed, you know what I'm saying, within the space, especially when it comes, Louisville artistry. You know what I mean? So, for sure.
yes, sir.
Y'all forgot one thing. The damn cinnamon vanilla.
My bad.
All the way
Cinnamon
to that
vanilla s'mores, all the way to the cooking, the vlogging. Man,
I'm gonna try that. I had I don't know what happened to it, but I had an inside s'mores maker where
that's why
it was just like a little tray, and then it had like a heater, so you could toast the marshmallows. So I need to find that again.
Nigga, that sound like an easy bake oven, nigga.
Right, basically, shit. Basically. Nah, it was dope though.